High school gave me more than classes and books. It gave me the farm. Our 3 Brahmin cows, Cindy, Gertrude, and Boxer, grazed freely in the wide pasture. 50 mango trees bore fruit each summer, producing more than 200 baskets, each heavy with golden sweetness. I remember accompanying my mom to government parking lots, offering baskets to employees heading home. Word spread quickly, and we would sell them all within days. There were also pigs, broilers, and chickens, our livelihood, our pride, our home's heartbeat. Summers meant feeding, vaccinating, even chasing chickens in the dark because their eyes could not see. Those moments were noisy, messy, sweaty, but they were filled with laughter, purpose, and hope. But one season changed everything. A virus crept in. Overnight, thousands of chickens lay lifeless, their stillness unbearable. We buried them in silence, digging deep into the soil as though we were burying our very dreams. The farm that once echoed with life became a graveyard of despair. It was the beginning of the end. As the farm faded, so did our finances. School requirements became luxuries we could no longer afford. Food on the table became scarce. One day I watched my mother open her drawer. With trembling hands, she gathered her jewelry, her most treasured possessions. Tears welled in her eyes as she whispered, "I have to pawn these, Anak, or else we will have nothing to eat." My heart shattered. In that moment, I realized poverty is not just hunger. It is watching the woman who carried you sacrifice the last pieces of her dignity for your survival. But even in the darkest valleys, hope dared to bloom. My parents, resilient and prayerful, decided to transform the farm into an inland resort. A swimming pool, a function hall, tennis courts, cottages, and a picnic grove beneath the mango trees. We poured our sweat and spirit into this dream. I, fresh from college, embraced the role of supervisor with excitement. I served clients, issued tickets, set up events, even learned tennis. For a while, it felt like joy returned, until it didn't. The tennis courts could not sustain the heavy loans. Against our will, we converted them into a cockpit. I had to learn its operations, immersing myself in an industry dominated by men. It was a world of money squandered, indecent proposals, and moral decay. At 25, I felt old, weary, and disillusioned. My sisters left for dreams abroad, and one by one my siblings followed. I was left alone to shoulder the weight of my parents' dream. Then came the storm that no roof could shield us from. The country plunged into its worst economic recession. Inflation soared. Loans became unbearable. My parents defaulted, and foreclosure loomed like a sword above our heads. What followed was a nightmare of endless court battles, loan sharks, lawyers, and compromises that broke our spirits. For 14 long years, we clung to prayers. Every day I begged God and Our Lady of the Holy Rosary for a miracle. And for a moment, heaven responded. A group of young doctors, former resort guests, came forward. Interested buyers, financially capable, ready to take the property at a fair price. I cried in relief. This was the miracle I prayed for. But then came my mother's voice. No, the offer is too low. Her resolve was unshakable, even as I pleaded in silence. Please let us take it, Mama. Let us find peace. But it was not my property, not my decision. And so the chance slipped away like water through trembling hands. As if that burden was not enough, another struck us harder. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, mastectomy, chemotherapy, endless weakness. I watched her struggle, vomit, lose appetite, and yet still cling to faith. Soon, her green card opened a door to America, where treatment and hope awaited. She and Dad left, and I, her daughter, whispered foolish bravery. I will handle everything here, even the case. But the truth was heavier than my words. I was young, tired, and afraid. And when the final blow came, that we missed our corporate renewal, stripping us of legal standing, I felt crushed beneath a mountain. There was no way out. The courts declared the battle over. We had lost. I delayed telling my parents. How do you crush the heart of a woman already battling death? But one evening, I gathered courage and dialed her number across the ocean. My voice shook. "Mom, it's over. We lost." Silence. I braced for anger, for blame, for collapse, but none came. Only the sound of my own sobbing filled the void. At last, I whispered what my soul had realized. "Mom, this isn't failure, even if we lost the property. God has given you life. Your treatment, your health, your new beginning in America, that is the greater blessing. Had we won, the money might only have been swallowed by hospital bills. But now you are alive, cared for, and safe. God has not abandoned us. He has only led us to a different kind of victory." After that, we never spoke of the case again. The 14-year battle ended not with triumph, but with surrender. Surrender that birthed peace. My parents flourished in their new life in the United States, embraced by a loving church community. Dad became a Eucharistic minister. Mom served in communion. Together they lived joyfully, their faith deepened, their lives renewed. And so I learned. Sometimes God's answer to prayer is not what we ask, but what will truly heal. We may lose land, wealth, and dreams, but never His love. His divine hand was there all along, leading us from loss into life, from despair into peace, from defeat into a victory that was eternal. I used to think loss was God's punishment, that unanswered prayers meant heaven was silent. But I learned that sometimes heaven's answer is disguised as loss. We lost the land, we lost the resort, we lost the dream. But in the ashes of those losses, my mother gained life, my parents gained peace, and our family gained a chance to start anew. God does not always give us what we want. He gives us what will heal us. He allows us to be stripped of everything until nothing is left to cling to but Him. And when we cling to Him, we discover the truth, that what we called failure was His protection, that what we thought was the end was His beginning, that every tear that fell was caught by His hands and turned into grace. The farm may be gone, the resort may have perished, but God's love has never been foreclosed. His mercy has never defaulted. His promise has never been lost. And so I finally understood. The greatest victories of life are not found in lands, riches, or courts, but in the quiet surrender where we lose everything, only to discover we have gained God Himself.